So we're back. You know what time it is? It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I put up four fingers. You know it's time for somebody to join us and share something good. So much negative going on in the world. This is not the place. You come here to hear something good and hear people tell me something good. And today's guest is one of the best salespeople I've ever met in my life. We've had the pleasure of knowing each other. We've had the pleasure of working together, which was really a highlight for both of us. We've had the pleasure of sharing a morning bagel it was our routine forever. I love this guy, Barry Slyper. Welcome to Tell Me Something Good. Go, brother, go.
Steve, so good to be here. You know, I've been following you for years. And I have to say this, it's funny, I think it was about 5-6 years ago. I think we were sitting in your office in Plantation, and you said to me, you know, I'm going to get really connected this next year. And you haven't stopped since that time. You're so connected. Yeah, it's what a ride. And it's great. And it's really nice. You know, your son has joined the company. I love it. I really thought he was going to actually coach in the NFL. But after listening to him now several times, I know, I get it. But you know, something, Mark is really, what a great young man. It's watching another version of you. You know, like.
Well, you remember seeing him when we would meet every morning, which today, one of the things I really miss, the morning routine, was that group of guys that started their day at the bagel shop. It was, you know, just an amazing time.
Well, Mark actually fired me a couple of times. I mean, it was actually kind of funny. He used to be, I remember him being as a little kid, he'd walk in and go, you're fired. He'd fire everybody. You know.
So true.
But the best thing is, we spoke last week, just briefly, but, you know, driving in the car with you, you know, down 95 to the next appointment. You know, I was running the sales on the telecom side of the business in the old days at ABC, and you were the cellular guy. And it was amazing how you could drive with your knees. A lot of people don't know how good a driver you are because you always had the yellow pad out, writing down that next note because we were on the cell phone. And it's just amazing. And that's kind of a segue to everything that's happening in my world these days with cellular. It's amazing that you and I both being, you know, coming from that world, the cellular world, you know, when that network was first built many years ago, it was designed and built for voice. Okay. And now we live in this world that's no longer voice. It's data.
True.
It's so data driven. So the network is stressed beyond belief. So carriers have come up with new technologies. And one of those technologies is something I'm involved in, which is called DAS, which is distributed antenna systems, where they actually bring the cellular service into a building and light up that building.
Specifically for the building?
Specifically for the building. So in other words,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, from the street, the network comes right in via fiber into the building.
Very cool.
And then they build up with antennas, and it's all heat mapped out and all that technical crap and all that stuff. But when you're done, you got, you know, 4 bars cellular service. And if you're lucky and all 3 carriers join the system, which in most cases they will, you have this great cellular service now in your building. And what's really great for the cellular carriers is we've now taken traffic off of the public network, so there's less stress on the network.
Got it. Very cool.
So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm consulting and I'm working a lot in the hospitality industry. So I'm working with some big hotels. Been going out to California a lot these days, quite frankly, because I have one of my sons out there. So it's great to get out there to see him. He runs a big fashion company out there. He's a chief revenue officer, so he's followed kind of in the sales end of
nice. I love it,
which is nice, yeah. But I get to go out there, and he's done really well for himself. He's got a couple of places, so it's easy for me to go and enjoy myself for 2 weeks out on the West Coast. But other than that, you know, it was interesting, you know, just listening to you guys, and you brought up some great stuff today. I actually took notes. All right.
Wow, nice.
It's not like you take
wow,
notes,
look at this.
I took some notes. Okay.
See, you did learn something.
Well, it's stuff that we've always done, and it just refreshes me again. So lifetime value of the transaction. All right. That's a big one. LTV. You're right about that.
Nobody even talks about that anymore. It's like, listen, over the course of a time that you know somebody, what's their value? You know, in cellular, it was crucial for me to figure that out. And clearly that was my claim to fame. I did, but it works in every walk of life and every business. Is like what's first of all, defining what the value is, and then it's never one time. It could be recurring. It could be every month. It could be, every year. The best businesses are when you get recurring revenue, which is, hard to reproduce. But one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, besides the fact that when I'm around you, I feel good. And I think that's a key thing to any relationship. You've seen sales change just like I have. You've seen it come inside out, whatever. So speak to the audience, if you would, about what do you think the common denominator has been in your success as a salesperson, as a sales professional, as a business owner, and how has COVID affected you? I'm curious to see that, to hear that as well.
That's actually a great question. So to me, it's always been about relationships. I'm a big believer, like you are. People buy from people that they like. All right. I have the ability, and so do you. We've done this many times. We're at a golf tournament. Who walks up to Sylvester Stallone and just says,
right.
and grabs a golf club out of his hand and says, "Let me take a look at that." All right. I'm not afraid to go up and meet anybody. So it's all about relationships.
That's when he called me Noodles. Remember?
Noodles. He called you Noodles. We went to his house. But, and Mark was there too. We had a good time.
Right. Exactly. Right. That's great. That's a great memory. Thank you. I forgot all about that.
I have many more like that with you. I mean, we have many other stories. What was it? Danny Aiello at the Miami Heat game.
Oh my God.
I walked right up. He passed away this year. One of my favorite actors.
Oh, what a shame, man.
Yeah. But we're not afraid. We're never afraid to walk up and meet somebody. So relationship development and stuff like that. But right now with COVID, I've had to learn some new tricks, just like we're doing this right now. I do this every day. I am on Zoom calls with people every day. And the good thing about it is it's not terrible. I could speak to multiple people. I could have a whole team on the client side get on, and I could tell my story one time to 7 people, 10 people, 12 people, which is great. So it makes it easier in some cases. I do miss the personal face-to-face, but at least this is kind of a semi,
Yeah, I mean, I think you bring up a really good point that a lot of people have had to learn new skill sets, and what the dichotomy is for what I find, and what's so interesting is that you have people who are in the mature state of their sales career who really know how to build relationships, aren't that comfortable with the tools. And then you have the younger, generation coming into sales. They have no experience in how to build relationships, but they're really good at all the tools.
That's true.
It's really, what I found, and that's why I love talking to people, is that it's really a fusion of both mindsets. The old school stuff that you and I used to do, and we had a big business. We dealt with a lot of the big corporations. Those were fundamentally about the people, not about the logo. Right. They liked us. I remember just telling people, hey, I'm going to send Barzoni over to see you. Barzoni, man. It was like, who is Barzoni? I go, you will never forget him when you meet him. So just that warmness that we created for people who are all personalities, and you bring back so many great memories of the people that we got to interact with and stuff like that. So now that you're doing these Zoom calls, how has COVID affected you personally? Physically, I've heard people say, hey, I've gained weight, I've lost weight, I've done, what has it done for you? Because I know you're an outgoing guy, get cooped up in a room ain't good.
Well, I'm in a condo like you. So listen, COVID is hurt my golf game, because the golf courses were closed for a long time. They're back open. So I do get out there at least twice, 3 times a week, still trying to play golf. I probably put on the COVID 10 with weight. And you got to tell me about your little secret of whatever this plan is that you're on, because you look great.
Look at this, man.
You look great. You look great. I had lost a bunch of weight. I gained back about 10 pounds, but feel good. Just getting, you feel like you're in the house all day long. So to me, that's tough. The good part is I have a balcony. I have a terrace. I can go out there. I look out at the intercoastal. I see the ocean. So that's not a bad thing, but it's, I'm looking forward to getting back out there and traveling again, but who knows when that's going to be? We'll see.
Right. And so it's interesting. People keep asking me, hey, when do you think it's going to get back to normal? And I go, this is normal.
It is.
This, I think, we've been working with people trying to create virtual relationships for years now. And people looked at us like, yeah, but face to face is always better. Well, face to face is great, and there will be a place for it, but it's not always the most efficient thing.
Mhm.
I mean, and so for us, finding, like, you and I haven't physically seen each other in a long time, but
Long
jumping up
time.
like this, you get a fix.
Right.
And the people I'm able to reach out to and reconnect with in a relevant way. We were talking about this morning. You can't, the personality, the energy, and all that stuff doesn't come through the phone anymore.
No, no, this is actually not bad. I mean, I'm really getting, I guess I'm getting kind of used to this. It's not bad. I mean, you're definitely reconnecting with folks, and you can get on a quick call. Even when people call me on the cell phone, I say, are you near a computer? They go, yeah. I said, let's get on a Zoom call. I want to see you.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy?
I'd like to. I want to see you. I want to see what's going
Right.
on.
Right.
Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes guy immediately puts on a baseball hat. I said, you got the bad hair day. All right, but
Listen,
that type of thing.
I had somebody reach out to me yesterday, wants to jump on tell me about an opportunity. And they said, I'll call your cell. And I go, I don't really do calls. And she was like, what are you talking about? I go, I want to see it, feel it, touch it, know it. Why would I do a call? It feels so foreign holding a phone and doing all that kind of stuff. So we're finally figuring that out.
Absolutely.
So the premise of my show
Mhm.
is I want to share goodness in the world. I want to share good personally in business and in philanthropy. It's your opportunity to share something good. So what's really good in your life? What's good in the world that you're noticing? Share it with the audience.
To me right now, what's really good in my life, to me, I'm blessed. It's all about family for me. I just, it's been a great year. Even with all this, my daughter got married.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, my daughter
Oh,
got married.
wow. Holy cow.
And she's doing great, married a great guy. And we were very lucky, Steve, because the wedding was the weekend before the crap hit the fan.
No shit.
With COVID.
Wow.
So we were basically the last event at this temple in Aventura. And after that, he had to shut down. So we got very lucky that the families were able, everybody came in, no one got sick.
Wow, that's awesome.
And we had a great party. So that was great. And I tell you, the only trouble I'm having right now is I miss my kids, the ones who live out of town. I got one older son, Jamie, who used to work with us years ago.
Sure.
He lives in DC, and I've got I have two grandsons that I'd like to see a little bit more of. But you know what? We see them, and here's what we do: we FaceTime or we Zoom. My grandson's going to be 6 years old. He has his ability. He goes right on the computer and on his iPad, and he calls me.
Isn't that great?
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, right? So when I hear stuff like that, there should be so much gratitude for, we took that for granted 3 months ago. There's so much we took for granted.
Yeah.
I have Jake staying with me. He's home from college. The football team is sort of in limbo.
Right.
When would I have had the chance to spend 3 months with him as a 22-year-old adult? I mean, it's, I look at it like, that's something good is incredible. The good is that you have a 6-year-old grandson at any time he wants. You can be face to face with him.
Yeah.
Pretty spectacular.
It's good stuff.
In closing, I want to focus in on the sales game. You're legitimately one of the best I've ever met. I enjoyed you worked with forget what in the barter industry when I met you. Is that correct?
Well, a lot of people, when I first met you, I give you, what do we got? 5 minutes? Quick one?
Yeah.
Okay. But when I first started out, I actually grew up in the restaurant business. So it's very interesting because that's why I got this. When I listened to you and your dad the other day, I'll tell you the truth. I loved it. It was so classic
cool.
because I was working with my dad. All right. And my dad was a chef. Okay. And my brother also. Okay. And we had restaurants down here when I first moved to Florida. And
really?
Yeah. Back in the day on where Sunny Isles was, used to be Motel Row. Okay.
Sure.
We had 5 restaurants in 5 different locations inside the motels. And
I never knew that.
Yeah. So what happened was I got out of the restaurant business, and a friend of mine said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. He says, you know what? You're great with people. He says, come to work with me. I know this guy. And that was the broadcast barter business.
I remember. Holy cow. That's what I remember you from.
And then I met you in Hollandale, Schmatter Row.
Oh my God!
with the
Wow.
when you were working with your buddies, the two guys, Joey
Right.
and Andy, I
Oh
think.
my God! That's
Okay.
right. Oh my God! That's
And
amazing.
you gave me the nickname Barzoni, by the way.
Oh,
Thank you
is
for
that
that.
right? Good. There you
That's true.
go. Right.
So then, I just realized that, I mean, I was working in the sales end in the barter business, doing a lot of business with restaurants. So I knew restaurants. And then that got old. And then I actually went into television production sales, selling a type of can. Back in the day when the Miller Lite commercials were really popular,
Mhm.
tastes great, less filling. We did a parody on that for the automotive industry. Great prices, better service, everything you've always wanted from a new car dealer for less. All right. And we went out
Very
and we
cool.
hired athletes in markets. Then we did a truck commercial where we hired Willie Mays. Willie's number was 24, Willie 2x4 Mays. And Reggie was 44, Reggie 4x4 Jackson. And we did these commercials. We shot them at the Oakland Coliseum in California. It was very, this stuff I
I
did.
remember you telling me stories about those
Yeah,
guys. I
yeah.
definitely remember.
But that was unique because I used to walk in cold into a market and knock on doors of car dealerships and say, hey, I got this great advertising program and I'm only selling it to one car dealer. And the first car dealer that buys it, I'm out of the market. And
Love it.
it was fun. It was really fun. You back in the day, carried a little video kit, showed them a quick reel, and that was that. But the real, how you and I really had fun was in the days of ABC and
They were
joining
amazing.
those, we just running and gunning. And listen, I still get referrals from customers that I sold a phone system to 30 years ago.
Yeah. So, the point of this morning's huddle, which I'm so glad that you're part of, and, it's great seeing your name in the morning, is that people, it's not that we're uncovering this, like the first time stuff. It's the stuff that people know that they just get away from. They forget. They go, you know what? I stopped thinking about that. And I have that perspective from all of the clients that I get to work with. And I'll ask them, I'll go, hey, where in this process do you, capture referrals or go after them? And they go, well, it's sort of like random. And I go, random doesn't work in my world, man. I get hives when I think of things that are random. So it's, so everything that we talk about in the huddle, which, it resonates with you because it's all the stuff that the successful people do. The top 5% are just doing things. They're not, it's not new. It's not magical. It's nothing sexy about it. It's hard work. People say, can you wave the wand and I can get great? No, man, you got to roll your sleeves up and do the dirty work. But dirty work, when it has to do with people, is really not dirty,
Right.
So
Exactly.
basic fundamental stuff. And the response this morning to the referral conversation was insane. I mean, people were like, oh my God, you're a genius. What? What's wrong with the world if I'm talking about referral? Create a good experience and have people talk about it. I mean, it's, when you're in the restaurant, and so I know this for a fact, you post about going or eating at Sicilian Oven all the time.
Sure.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
You do that, you're the best advertisement they have.
Oh, they love me. Well, it's a good friend, and plus, it's great. The food is great, and
But
you know what?
great.
I've been using social media now a lot more than ever, and I'm getting tied into LinkedIn a lot more. Thank you from you, really, because I'm just following you, seeing the things you're doing. Good model for me. It's always worked.
Oh,
And
totally. The amount of people that you can reconnect with. We're actually doing a Learn LinkedIn Like a Pro on the 17th. You should join us.
I'm going to. I've been
Please
thinking about
do.
that.
Yeah,
I'm going to jump in. I definitely want to do that because I've been using LinkedIn a lot. Like today, before this call, that's why I called Shay. I said, what time do I got to be on? Because I'm trying to find this one guy who knows a guy. And I found him. It was just great. And I found out he knows a guy that I know. Next thing I know, I called this guy. And the guy's taking my call. How hard is that?
You know why? Because you're the guy, man. You're the guy. Who wouldn't want to have a call with Barzoni? This has been tremendous going down memory lane. Let's not go as long in between phone calls. Whatever you need from me, we'll welcome you in on the 17th. But in the short term, whatever you need from me, you got it. I will never forget the times we had. They were some of my favorite sales. I mean, when we were driving that bus hard, baby.
Steve, you're one of the best, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Love you, man. Be good.
Thank you. Take care.